Welcome again to Flow into UTV. If you tuned into last week's episode and you're returning, I want to thank you for visiting the channel again. And I want to thank you to everyone that subscribed and commented last week's video. It was truly a pleasure to utilize the tool of divination to explore how to move through the energy of the lunar eclipse. And so this week, we're going to be navigating the energy of the upcoming week, which is leading us to the solar eclipse that's taking place April 8th, 2024 at 2:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be taking place in the constellation of the late degree of Pisces. So the constellation of Pisces, yes, I know you all may be hearing that it's going to take place in Aries, but if you take a look at your local sky, you will actually see that the sun and the moon are traveling through the late degrees of Pisces, which is also calling in the energy as well of its neighboring constellation, which is Cetus. So we're going to explore that today. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button and comment below where you're watching the channel from. I would love to know, to get to know you all as we build this community here, where you all are tuning in from. Drop it in the comments. All right, let's get started. I mentioned that the solar eclipse is going to be taking place in the late degrees of Pisces around the 22nd degree. And the 22nd degree, interestingly enough, is, especially because the sun and the moon are going to be conjunct, the eclipse is going to take place for about 4 minutes and 36 seconds. So its impact won't be as long as the impact of the lunar eclipse we just experienced. However, because the sun and moon are coming together and we are still we're still in the activating energy of the lunar eclipse that just took place within the constellation of Virgo, we are now going to be exploring authority, and particularly the early symbols of authority that invite our experiences with our mother and with our father into the picture. So the 22nd degree has a Saturn quality to it, and we also, of course, have Neptune's influence. And so it's going to be important that we pay attention to certain patterns that may unveil addictions of narratives that we have continued to tell ourselves based upon our experiences with the authority figures of our mother and our father, whether their presence or their absence impacted our lives. Both create impact. And so these celestial activations will open up our awareness into the intangible influences of how we experience authority with ourselves. And as we move through the remaining degrees of Pisces, we're in this primordial water energy. And so this narrative of our mother and father even extends beyond our space and time. And so exploring the generational narrative, the ancestral narrative of the archetypes of our mothers and our fathers, and how we engage with that, not just in our individual lives, but on a community level. And so let's go ahead and gather some insight through the symbolism of the Oracle and Tarot. All right. So the first card here, the Temple. Interesting. The Temple. Your body is your temple. And understanding that these experiences influence the architecture of your temple. As well as the temple that pays homage to your ancestry. And so exploring, utilizing the energy present to recognize that we are our first altar. How we nurture and nourish through our emotional, spiritual, physical, or mental frequencies. They influence the architecture of the temple, how the temple is maintained. Is it maintained for longevity? How are we taking care of our earthly portion and aligning that with our heavenly calling? And so, of course, when we are exploring Pisces energy, we utilize the rhythm of the mystic, which takes us in beyond what the eye can see. So there may be a necessity to summon in new perspectives. Summoning clarity is what I'm hearing of the identity behind the archetypes of the mother and father in your life, and in the story of your ancestry. Divine Spirit, great ancestors. What more would you like for us to utilize this energy for within this upcoming week? Provide me with clarity. In order to discern the messages that I'm receiving at this time. I'm hearing shake it off. Shake off the ragged clothes and the raggedy ideas that has been planted inside of you of authority. Calling in forgiveness. Calling in a higher perspective of authority at this time so that you can move through the earthly experience, the earthly portion that may distort the healthy version of authority. So exploring the divine masculine is going to offer you the medicine to cure maybe a lack of ambition, a lack of attracting what you desire in your home life, or even the delay of progress that's taking place. And so there is a exchange that needs to be made, though. You will have to exchange something in order to receive illumination around the ideas to create and will into existence a happy home life, a compatible spouse, initiating new projects, moving through doubt, moving through the need to be acknowledged, assessing where that need and desire generates from. How your ability to utilize your will is engaged in the dynamics of your emotional connection with the father archetype. So it may require that you call in a different level of energy, which utilizing the energy of Pisces at this time, Pisces and Cetus energy, will help you to navigate through very deep emotional narratives that'll take you to the roots of your thought process, which will show up when we're moving through the constellation of Aries energy. So it's very important right now that whatever you're setting yourself up to manifest, in order to have a more intimate relationship with your divine purpose, with your heavenly calling, and will require you to surrender. A keyword of Pisces energy: surrender, make sacred, call in support, to reconcile with your masculine father archetype, which interweaves with your destiny. And so in order to move forward, there needs to be a level of stillness and balance with the coolness of the feminine essence, energy. There may be some of you watching that may be having challenges with inflammation and excess heat in your body. Be very mindful of any illnesses that you may be up against at this time, or any diseases that may be moving through the patriarchal energy within your family. Pay attention to them. Pay attention to them. Because within them, within the poison is also the medicine, right? But we have to expose we have to expose the toxins. The ones that you may not be able to see. So it'll require you to move into a space beyond the physical, and moving beyond the attachment of the physical realm. But of course, calling in protection when you move into a plane to help you to gain a greater insight, to expand your compassion towards the unfolding of the narrative, the patriarchal narrative, the matriarchal narrative. How have they created the experience that is taking place within your family at this time? And how does that impact you? And how is that supporting your destiny, your calling? How has your relationship with the masculine archetype been influenced by a distorted ideology that we have socially even kept in place, that may no longer validate or provide the balance and the healing? There's healing that needs to take place, that of those of you that are watching this collective. And if this doesn't resonate with you, or if you are completely disinterested in even stepping into this energy or utilizing the energy in this way, that's totally fine as well. But we're going to keep building on this, because this will create space to design a different identity, because something within the ancestral, the patriarchal and or matriarchal energy is being summoned to change. And here we are. We got the Mother of Sticks showing up with the Father of Sticks. Authority. Authority, authority, authority. See, if you're moving into a space where you are taking more authority over your life, taking more authority over any of the areas of your life, calling back your power, create space to explore how your power was even stolen from you. Because sometimes that's where the wounds with our mothers and our fathers actually generate from a time where we could feel our internal authority, but because we were programmed to believe that the authority outside of us should override the authority within us, and then those moments where we had to either surrender our authority to someone whom may not have had the ability or the knowledge or wisdom to express healthy authority over us, that we may have felt violated, cheated, that we didn't have the support or guidance needed in order to fully embrace the greater version of ourselves, what we were already called to be, but we're attempting to translate it into our earthly form, into our earthly portion. And so then we may find ourselves having to learn how to trust ourselves all over again, because we feel that we're in these murky waters of ideas and ideologies that were imposed upon us with the belief attached to them that I know better than you know when it comes to navigating you. So maybe that's a place where we have to start in creating a space to forgive, that maybe we didn't have the ideal home, or we didn't have that inspiration to move us into a space of knowing ourselves in a way that was healthy. And so creating a temple within ourselves may require us to clean up our ideas of how we manage, how we nurture, how we command, how we use our command, or how we use our ashe in a way that, because sometimes we may, we talk about how, my mom didn't do this, my dad didn't do this. And yes, it may be true, But we have been given divine authority by our Creator to utilize our experiences to restore our relationship with our earthly experience and bridge it to our heavenly calling. But if we do that in a energy of low quality vibration, then it may bridge us into a space that will perpetuate the cycle of, I don't have control. That just as I was a child unable to have complete authority over my life, that I am now still that same being where I don't really know where my authority comes from. And so we start using the experiences that diminished our authority, and then we replicate it in the experiences that we have in this modern day. And so this energy at the moment is giving us the opportunity to really examine hidden ideologies on an individual level, even on a cultural level, to see if they align with what we were programmed with in our heavenly form. And call in support from your ancestors, from your mothers, and from your fathers to be able to have a healthy perspective, one that isn't attached to the misdeeds, the ego, the undeveloped. The undeveloped experiences that may have caused your parents to engage with you in a certain way. Of course, yes, they will be held accountable, okay? I'm not saying, because there's a varying degree of experiences that we have all had with our parents, whether they were physically consistently present or they were absent, and how we approach that, lightening our approach, utilizing our authority, our divine authority, to approach it from a light place, lightening our hearts. Leo rules the heart. And so lightening our hearts, which will it may take prayer, meditation to shift your mind, mindfulness practices, taking a break, disconnecting, moving into a space of solitude. It doesn't mean that you have to move into more traumatic behaviors where you're creating more attachment in order to feel a connection. Whatever you need to do to create a lightness, have compassion with yourself. If that means you have to disconnect yourself completely from the world, do it. there's going to be an energy moving through this week where, because there is this component of moving through the space without the mental clarity that we will need to navigate through spiritual practices, prayer, in order to receive the language that will express our hurt, our pain, because in no way is bypassing a healthy experience. We want to continue to move towards wholeness. But some of you may even have a certain heaviness to you because of what you're emotionally carrying. And it could be because you have not put language to what it is that you have been feeling, that you may not have fully forgiven, that may have impacted your worth and how you see yourself. And it's showing up through the archetype, our engagement with the mother and father archetype, through our engagement with feminine and masculine energy, and the imbalance even within our culture, within our communities, which of course come from our families. Families are the cornerstones of community. And so be very mindful that community work starts with family work. If you move into the community work and you believe that the community work will bring you a deeper family connection, maybe because of what you achieve in your community, how your community sees you, I would encourage you to revisit that process, because there's a step being skipped. It is very, very vital that we tend to our families. That is a part of our heavenly calling and our ancestral promise that each of us have in all of our families. And in order to fully create a balance, because much of our imbalance in our world is because of the disruption within the family unit and the imbalance of energies that are impacting and influence family culture. Which show up within our individual engagement with these energies as well. Especially if you had, maybe you were raised in a home where a parent had to take on balancing both of these energies. And then if they're coming from not a house where the energies were not balanced, that could have taken a toll on them energetically and manifested itself as an illness that could have been passed down through generations as a pattern of illness or disease. And so then there could be an emotional trigger present that either is giving you insight into the generational pattern of distortion for curing, for healing, or that, that would lighten the load, right? Lighten the burden of the family, because disease has burdens It is layered. It's not just that you have someone who has this disease, but everyone in the family, of course, is invested emotionally in the individual that is impacted. And so it's not just one person, but everyone as a unit is experiencing the illness. Just as our Earth Mother is ill, we are all being impacted by this illness that is imposed on her through our engagement with her. And so paying attention to that process really gives us the clarity of the level of impact that what we can't touch, what we can't see, is the very thing that if we allow it to exist long enough, it will be made manifest as our earthly portion. So I'm going to pull from my Divine Feminine Oracle, which highlights community, ancient community, ancient energy. The black diamond carries the energy of ancient energy, primordial energy. And seeing that the number is 38 and 39, that 1-2 step process, the community, how we engage from our heart space, knowing that we're all interconnected, that we're all part of a system. When we're engaging with ancient energy, systems are involved. Systems are involved. And even though the systems may have different components that don't mirror each other exactly, such as the hair on the head of these two women on this card, 2 different colors. The eyes, 2 different colors. But the hearts are the same. Even if the clothes, how the shirt and the skirt, they're reversed, they're still together. There's more that we have in common than we have apart. This is the way of wisdom. This is what allows us to move through even those heavy emotional waters, so that we can find balance, even in the changes, even in the challenges. How do we use this energy of change and transformation on an unseen level to tap into a healthier paradigm? a one that has allowed eternity to exist. Because the way that we have allowed ourselves to continue certain diseases and just dismiss them as they're just happenings that come out of nowhere has created or taken away longevity from our families. Whereas we could bring back longevity through assessing and taking into consideration where we are more connected than divided, where we are more alike than we are different. Where our soul's purpose is actually being enhanced through the challenges or the obstacles that may be installed within our genetic coding that are ready to be transmuted, that are calling out for a different command, that is asking that a new authority take its place, that a new mandate be made. Ashe. And so create space to tap into your identity that has existed prior to this human experience in order to meet the challenges that you are facing when it comes to reconciling any imbalances with the feminine energy or the masculine and the feminine energy that engages in a relationship within you, either creating harmony or creating disharmony, depending upon your perception and your relationship, your spiritual relationship, your level and quality of reverence. Whether it be necessary that you do it from a distance, because ultimately it's about how you lighten your own load. This energy within the next week is going to give us an opportunity to lighten our load through seeing how unity is the ancient agenda. That disharmony, that there is a law of harmony, a law of balance that exists in the divine order of things. Don't fall into a trap is what I'm hearing. Don't fall into a trap of your own making within this next week. Protect yourself from illusions. Accept the people in front of you the way that they are. You don't have to make them or create them to be something that fits your liking. That is an abuse of authority that may not go well for you. So keep that in mind. Allow people to be who they are. Face the fears of how others show up. Sometimes the fears can be, so-and-so may not accept me because of who they are. And once you allow them to be who they are and you allow yourself to be who you are, that fear dissolves. You have now called back your power and your sovereignty, and you are allowing that person the gift of standing in their authority and standing in their sovereignty as well. Because you don't have to be the same to be connected. You don't have to be identical. Diversity is how the Creator expresses itself through all of creation. And everything works in harmony and in the ancient way, in the ancient systems. You don't find an oak tree with the desire of becoming a fish. And you don't find the oak tree because it isn't a fish, and it may have that it isn't a fish that is trying to convince the fish to become an oak tree. You may have had that narrative with your parents where they may not have allowed you to be yourself, but now you have the spiritual authority to recognize that you have always had the authority to be who you are. There was a belief or an idea that was planted in you that made you believe that you were not enough because you weren't allowed to be who you are. But take back your authority. Utilize this energy to call back your power from the moments where you felt disempowered from experiences that made you feel that you could not be yourself, so that you can continue to become more of who you are, who you've always been. Sometimes our fear is just that we don't know how to be ourselves. We've become so afraid of ourselves because of others' ideas that they allow to choke them from being themselves, expressing themselves. And then that becomes a generational pattern where everybody is moving in a rhythm where no one feels safe. Everyone feels afraid to be who they are. So unpack those fears if that narrative resonates with you. Unpack that. And then you can show up in your family with a liberated sense of who you are, which then liberates others. And sometimes their discomfort is just that when you're in their space, being you, that it gives them an opportunity to do something that they're not fully comfortable with because they've never had that freedom or never given themselves the freedom of being themselves. So also be courageous in this act, because yes, resistance will meet you, but recognize the process that's happening so that you don't allow that experience to make you feel that you have to shrink your earthly portion. Keep expanding your earthly portion. Keep expanding your identity. Keep gaining insight about your identity. Focus on your identity. Continue in this journey of unpacking your identity. And protect yourself from others who believe that they know you better than you know yourself. And yes, you may still be learning yourself, but it is important that you protect your identity from someone else's fear of them being themselves. And so they feel that they need to use their authority to be over you, because they may feel, oh, well, she going into an unknown territory. I'm not comfortable, so let me take it upon myself to make myself comfortable to help her out of a discomfort that I feel from what she's doing. Be mindful of that, because in that scenario, that actually is not your problem. That is still not your fear. So be mindful of that narrative as well, that you don't allow someone else's discomfort in what you're doing to disrupt the comfort of you moving through yourself, because you may already be going through discomfort through the work that you're initiating or moving into, that you're changing rather, because this is a mutable energy. This is we're inside the rhythm of mutability right now. Use it wisely. Call in wisdom so that you know how to utilize the resource of mutability. That the change becomes one of lasting change, one that will last, one that will dissolve fears. That you're not using your portion of energy to be out there, but that you're using it to be in here, in you. Because once you become once you accept, aka surrender, move into acceptance of who you are, it gives you freedom to love others with where they are, in their lives, in their process, in their illnesses, even in their traumas, without you feeling like you need to absorb yourself in their energy to connect. Rather, you get to stand in your authority where you are and allow your energy to not be one of, I need to be attached to you in order to relate with you, to be a relative to you. No, I can relate with you by pardon me. I can relate with you by the uncovering of my own identity. And so that is the guidance that has come through in navigating this upcoming week. And so, of course, this is a collective reading. If you would like something that is more customized to your experience, please check the comment section, check the info section below on how to utilize this energy in your own personal experience based upon either your own personal chart or through your own personal divination experience. But this is such a substantial energy for change. It really, really is. And that's why so much change is happening right now. And we're having to surrender to it. Ashe. I give gratitude to you all for those of you that have made it this far. Thank you. Please like, share, and comment below. If this reading resonated with you, type below, I have the authority to create healthy transformation. If this resonated with you, type below, I have the authority to create healthy transformation. I look forward to seeing you all in next week's video here on Flow Into You TV. Until next time, peace.